Let me start. England, welcome to the Travis Head Penitentiary. Lockdown. Now you know what it feels like. Now you know.
In fact, David Warner was on commentary where he said that, in India, he's known as headache. Maybe now England will start realizing why they call him such a headache.
I mean, when he got that 100, Marnus Labuschagne congratulating him from the other end. 100, Marnus Labuschagne congratulating November. When have we heard that before?
They just changed venues.
They just changed venues, but...
And the format.
And format. But what a masterclass. What an absolute masterclass from Travis Head. And the test match has ended in 2 days. The Ashes opener has ended in 2 days. Head's 123 of 83 balls. The joint third fastest century by an Australian. And Marnus Labuschagne's 51. Australia have chased on 205 for two. And England have lost by 8 wickets. And their summer of misery is about to begin.
I know that Travis Head will attract all the attention, and rightfully so. I think it will go down in history as one of the finest Ashes 100. It certainly was. Counter-attacking one at that. Firstly, whose idea was it to send him? I mean, kudos to the person. Usman Khwaja. Yes. I mean, it wasn't his idea, but I think it's because of his spasms that he's gotten.
And I think because of those spasms, he's also walked himself right out of a slot for the remainder of the Test series. How do you relegate him to the middle order after this? You can't.
Although, see, Travis Head can do that because whenever you played in Asia, Travis Head was pushed up as an opener.
I'm saying you can't. Of course, he can. He can open. He can play in the middle order. I'm saying, considering how shaky your opening batting has been, and considering that you've gotten a ready-made solution here, and considering your other option is Usman Khwaja, who many people are joking on social media, saying he's played 20 tests too many at this point in time.
No. He's not worse off than Crawley.
No, I'm talking about from an Australian perspective. We're not comparing to Crawley. Crawley at this point should be the most debated cricketer in England. Somehow it's always Ollie Pope, who I feel bad for at times. He's a decent bat.
No, he batted well here.
He's batted well here in general also. He's a better bat than Zach Crawley.
There was a social media post I saw one guy before the first day of the Ashes. He had put a picture of himself, like almost throwing his laptop. And there's a picture of him throwing the laptop, and he has written there that me tomorrow at 2:28 p.m. when Crawley would be out.
Crawley nicks one off.
Whatever, he wrote that. And later he got out, but 4-5 minutes before his predicted time. So I said, no, sorry, 2:23. Not even 20. He can't even survive 5 minutes. So, I mean, that's how bad he is. Anyway, coming back to Head, I think, it would make sense to now have him open. He could be the Virender Sehwag for Australia. Remember, we pushed him from the middle order bat. And of course, in Head's case, he does it quite often in white ball cricket. So, not that unusual for him to open in Test match cricket. But even in Australian conditions, you can look at that. Or maybe, I don't know whether it'll work only in these situations where you need counter-attacking batting, and when you need a bit of conventional batting, we can always push them down to middle order. That is something they can do, but kudos to the Australian team to have thought of this idea. But I have a feeling, had this been a very different sort of a situation where you needed to grind things out, it was a big total, maybe they wouldn't have taken the risk of a Head. Maybe this was that sort of a total that you could send ahead and then attack the best option that is there for you. It's worked out well for Australia. But the only thing, and going back to my point about Head, I know that he'll get all the kudos, one of the finest hundreds that we've seen in Ashes cricket. The only thing that I will say is that for me, the star of this Test match still remains the Aussie bowlers. I think they were more crucial because once the total was 205 for Australia to chase, at that time I had no doubt that Australia will chase it down. I know it may sound odd because of a Test match when 19 wickets are falling in a day, but the thing is that you knew that unlike Indian conditions, here conditions would get better for batting. And as soon as the total was 205, for me it was a subpar total, and at that point I had no doubt that Australia will chase that total down. That they chased it in style, all thanks to Travis Head, full marks to him. But that's why I say the game actually turned with the Aussie bowlers, with Boland and STARC coming up with that spell. where England sitting pretty at 65 for 1.
Yeah.
This with Pope there, because you're just talking about him, and Duckett. I think it's that Duckett wicket that he falls at 65. From there on, you have, I think, lose 5 wickets for barely any runs there.
You
get
lost
99. You lost your 9 wickets for 99 runs.
Yeah,
correct.
You lost 5 wickets for 23 in that middle phase.
Correct. So 5 wickets for 23. Boland, of course, the wrecker-in-chief at the time, and then ably supported by STARC as well. Outstanding bowling. Could be down to some stupid strokes also played by the English player, like typical outside the off stump, you're fishing, getting out. I mean, that's another thing.
We were criticizing Kohli for doing all the time in the last summer.
So for that, I think, it is actually the Aussie bowling that for me has turned it around. I'm taking no credit away from Travis Head, but that spell today, because England would be thinking now, and this will be a question, that we were, and now it's a 2-day test match, so can't even say a day, but if out of the 2 days I take a day and a half, that is about 75% of your test match, England were ahead.
Yes.
But it's that remaining 25, which is that spell by Boland and Stark, and then this knock by Head, the remaining 25% where Australia were the better team, and they won their test match. So if you're looking for answers where England lost this test, I think it was that moment.
That 5 for 23 collapse, that was your turning point.
It reminds me also a bit of last year's, the last Ashes, the opener. It looked like it was set up for an England win. Then Cummins got busy. He got stubborn. Dug in, batted long enough, wore them down, won that match. That was also England's game to lose. Similarly, after
Edgbaston 23.
Yeah. That was also the series opener. There also, at one point it looked like England were romping to a victory. What happened? Cummins dug deep. Here, it was obviously reversed in the sense that they were chasing, and it was a very different circumstances, but they were ahead. Yesterday, I remember saying it on our show. I said that if I had to pick one of the dressing rooms, who would I rather be a part of? I'd say it's the England dressing room. After getting bundled out like that, to take a lead, to be in the position to take a lead, I'll be happier of the lot for sure. But then you've gone on to throw away the test match. And you can say that, yes, it's down to stupid stroke making, which again comes back to that same problem whereby we criticize the Indian team of, making the same mistake over and over again and not learning from it. They're like the poster boy spirit at this point.
And not just the mistake in their stroke making, taking nothing away from Travis Head, but the kind of bowling that England dished out in the second innings, they did themselves no favor. I don't know what was this obsession about short pitch bowling. All they did was just try and bounce the Aussie players out. I mean, I agree it was a below par total, but it was still a total that you could try and make a match out of. And how is it that Stark and Boland took the wickets? Pitching it up, allowing the ball to do everything and inducing a false stroke. England, because of their pace battery, because we've got 3 bowlers that can crank it up to 150, so what are we going to do? We're going to give you the short pitch bowling treatment. And then I think Australia came prepared. I mean, yes, all the talk about Perth and this and that, pitch got better, and Head out of all the people absolutely nailed them. So again, their bowling also. And why I'm surprised, because the first inning bowling plans from England were top notch.
Exactly.
I can't think of a single bad delivery that they would have bowled in the first innings. Cut to second inning, I don't know what they were thinking.
I mean, see, they were all feeling that, okay, Head is opening, okay, let's target him with the short ball, because starting. But then when Head counter-attacked, they just had no plan B.
Then they lost their head.
They lost their head. Bass ball, forget it. It was head ball. It was Strav ball, whatever you want to call it.
They gave them a dose of their own medicine.
Exactly, by counter-attacking and winning the game quickly.
And
look at it. That one shot that Head hit of Archer, when Archer had troubled them in the first innings, that one flat-batted tennis-like shot to long on. It was done. They were deflated beyond any measure. They had no plans.
There was no plan B, which is very shocking, because again, in the first innings, it feels like you were watching 2 different bowling units operating. Yeah. First innings, they were very different. The plans were very well laid, and this is something I don't understand about Ben Stokes, the captain. At times, he can really oscillate. There are times he'll not put a foot wrong. There are times when he loses the plot completely. There's never an in-between with the guy, and I'm a big fan of him, but man, sometimes I feel like I wish there was some plan B. I can say that. I can actually sum that up as baseball in general. I wish there was a plan B.
But you know what this win has done? It's not just a win, but I think it's a statement by Australia. And I think the reason they batted like that, sent Head and the way he batted. Also, I think it was a specific targeting of, the Stokes is over. Who I think he hit him for 3-4s. And this is what Australia does best. When they know they're in a position now to win, they will go for the head of the snake, which is a Stokes. They targeted him, and then the England team in general. And I think what they were trying to do is not just win, but also issue a statement. They like this, that you're in our country, you're in Australia, mate. We're going to make life hell for you. And this is the start. So this is how we're going to win. This is we're teaching you, okay, we had a bad start to this test, but we're telling you who the boss is, because this is age-old Australian mentality. It's not just about winning, but also giving those scars, because you have a 5 test match series, and it'll only get worse as the test matches go. Not to say that England cannot bounce back, but I think they realize that why just take the win? Let's take the win and inflict some damage, which is going to help us notch up a few more wins going forward, which has been classic Australia technique from the time that I can remember.
It reminds me a bit of like those days, early 2000s, mid 2000s, when you have Turkish clubs, a lot of them doing well in the Champions League, Galatasaray and the likes. They would, but Gala in particular were very dogged opponents for one very simple reason. Fan bases in Turkey are of another level. Okay, so they used to literally hold out a tifo, which is to have, a water written over there, welcome to hell. And then the fans would give them hell. It didn't matter if the teams were not always up to the level. They were like workman-like teams, hard workers. They would give it to you.
But the difference is that was the fans. Here's the team that's...
And here's the team. No, I'm saying they're imbibing that mentality.
Yeah, because there were a lot of English fans actually in the crowd.
Actually, and that's, by the way, full credit to Cricket Australia, and I think even the England and Wales cricket both, that they tend to release schedules so far out in advance that you can plan travel. Take note. Please.
By the way, that reminds me.
T20 World Cup?
No. Talking about schedule, I heard David Warner on commentary criticizing the Australian schedule, saying, not announcing it in advance because how much pressure they're putting, how they're now prioritizing things, and being critical of how the Australian summer has been planned and their cricket in general. And when I was listening to it, it was such a breath of fresh air, because I can't remember the last time an Indian player on commentary. We do it here all the time. Criticize the schedule or how ill-planned it is sometimes. Do you hear, when was the last time you heard in Indian commentaries?
I mean, who produces the home matches? Who handles the production? The board? Who hires then the commentators?
No, overseas matches also you are on commentary.
It's produced, but the matches are usually produced by the television partners.
I'm saying, let's say if you are an Indian commentator, England series, you're not, BCCI is not producing, Sky is. I can say, do you hear it then?
Yeah, actually you don't even then. You don't.
That's my point. You can't. Okay, I have a question. Who's the man on the match for you?
Mitchell Starc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there'll be some sort of a debate there.
10
but
wickets.
It's unanimous. I think those 7 wickets, by the way, it's not just those 7 wickets in the first innings. It's, that crucial partnership. We were talking about turning points, that crucial partnership that he has in the first innings, where I think
he and Alex Carey.
Carey and him have a partnership. I think it's a 35 run partnership or something like that, because it's their lower order which goes on to get from there on the crucial 50 runs. Otherwise the lead could have been close to 80 runs for England. That's where then it's tough for you, because you fall so far behind the test match. But eventually the lead is 30 runs?
It's about 39 runs.
Close to 40.
Yeah, 40 runs.
40.
And it could very well have been 80. Down to that partnership that he has with the bat. I think he only got 12, 13 runs, but that partnership was important. So 7 wickets, that partnership. Then for me, the number one turning point, this Boland-Starc spell, to have gotten them down. So all in all, in terms of the overall impact, I know everyone will talk about head because it's latest, but for me also mid-Starc. We're unanimous. And as our producer Pawan also now shows us that the commentators and the deciding panel also tends to agree. Mid-Starc, no doubt.
And that's one thing, by the way, I love India in general to take note, not just of the way a Mitchell Starc bats, but how it is that even on the English side, you've got a Cars coming in at 9 who's actually a bowler. He's not a all-rounder, but he can bat. Please teach, or if you're a bowler in India, learn how to bat like that rather than stuffing your team with all-rounders for batting depth. This batting depth thing, Starc is their number 8. And right now, by the way, it looks worse, or it looks slightly worse. Next test, if Cummins is back, then that batting extends slightly more.
Number 9, yeah.
Though I mean, we were talking about batting. I think when India played a test match, I was going to be critical of the fact that India's fourth pacer was Nitish Kumar Reddy, I think, in that test match. And they have Braden Cast, England. I mean, so see the difference in terms of the level of pacers. But then people will argue India won and they've lost. So what are you harping about? But yet again, I mean, you have to see that England has Cast as their fourth pacer. We had Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Not just that. You're looking at it here. Who was England's fifth pacer?
Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes.
We'd kill to have a Ben Stokes. Just one, please. Our one closest to Ben Stokes no longer plays Test cricket.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We won. They've lost.
They have lost. Yes. And comprehensively. This is...
Okay, that takes me to the pitch debate.
Yeah.
What will you say now? Speak now, Mr. Vishwanathan. You're being critical of the pitch.
No. You can't be critical of the pitch now.
Yeah.
Because of one simple reason. If Australia were bundled out for 100, then yes, this pitch deserved every bit of the criticism that is there. Did batters struggle? I don't think so. No one struggled. A head showed that you can bat counter-attackingly. Marnus Labuschagne also showed that you could counter-attack and do it well. This was the start of Perth becoming a placid deck. BGT first test, when you look at it, India, same, it started in the same note. India got bundled out for a sub 200 total. Australia got bundled out for even lesser.
But what happened after that?
India had that application. Where was the Jaiswal in the England team? He hung around, KL Rahul hung around, 161, 77, 200 plus an opening stand. Here, look at the nature of each dismissal that England gifted to Scott Boland. Good length, outside off, go for the drive, edged and caught. Good length, outside off, go for the drive, edged and caught. Most batters in the England side and even in the Australian side in the first innings played horrible shots. Travis Head was guilty of it himself in the first innings. Alex Carey was guilty of it in the first innings. He just upper glided and he banged his bat. I mean, shot selection. And they didn't tamper the Perth condition. Perth is like this. In India, you are desperately wanting to alter the conditions.
Because Eden is not like that.
Eden is never like
that. That I think is a big distinction.
Yes.
Perth is like this, Eden was not like that.
What was not like that? Yeah. If you look at it in Pune, compare it with the two sandpits that you dished out in 2017 and 2024. You did play a Pune test match against South Africa wherein Kohli scored 254.
His highest ever.
Yes. So you deliberately alter the conditions according to the opposition that comes in. So in Perth, you didn't. But that is the problem. Oh, 19 wickets on day one. Why aren't you criticizing
But why
that?
is it that some of former players, I mean, I was surprised Ravichandran Ashwin joined.
DK2.
DK, Ravichandran Ashwin. I don't know, does it go back to you have to be, defensive about Indian pitches, Indian conditions? Because I would have thought like these are players, know their cricket. I have the highest respect for them and their opinion on cricket. I was a bit surprised that they were trying to equate 19 wickets falling. I mean, you can't be looking at an absolute number, right? As in the one point that Siddharth made, Perth was always like that, Eden Gardens was not like that. You're trying to make it different. You're trying to tamper with the subject. Secondly, that's another matter because of those poor technique and some good bowling that you got dismissed. But that's exactly what is a test match pitch. It is difficult on day one. It will assist fast bowlers. If you can survive, day 2 will get better. Day 3 will get even more better. And if they had continued to play till day 3, batting would have improved. Whereas in India, that's the biggest difference. From day 1, it's turning and it's not conducive to batting. Day 2 will get even worse. Day 3 even worse. Day 4 impossible.
You won't get there.
You won't get there. But even if you did, it's impossible. But that's the big difference. So I can't believe that even some of the brightest minds in cricket were equating it like, now speak, 19 wickets have fallen. This is great cricket, people will say. But it happens in India, you won't. Yes, because there's a huge difference.
And look at it. You chase 205 for 2. That's why I stressed on 205 for 2. In Kolkata, you couldn't chase 124.
Yeah.
Similar, 2.5 day wicket.
It's like saying, why aren't we celebrating the 100? Virat got it in Ahmedabad in BGT, you didn't say much about it. And now you're praising Travis Heads here. Are different conditions, different situations.
Different conditions, different outcomes.
Yeah.
You drew in Ahmedabad, you won here.
Because that was like a 5 people have gotten centuries and 19 wickets are falling in one day and the guy's got 100. You can't look at the absolute number. 19 wickets fell. Oh.
There are 3 factors.
By that logic, okay, I'm talking about 2011 Cape Town. On one particular day, 23 wickets fell. But then prior to that, you had a 400 score, you had a 300 score, 96, 47, but then you chased on 211. That pitch wasn't given an unsatisfactory
and
rating.
if that happens in Guwahati, let's say Guwahati goes like this, first team batting gets 350, the next team gets 320. Then the second innings are 180 and 150. Fine, that is how a test match is to be.
In India,
yes,
particularly.
I'll take that. That is the perfect pitch. If, let's say, Guwahati pans out just the way that I spoke.
There are 3 factors, in my opinion, which always come across as problematic when it comes to this. One, the Indian public in general, and I'm sorry to say this, when it comes to pearl clutching and asking for validation from Western nations, we are the worst. Absolute worst. This whole pearl clutching, but what about if it was? And why is it that no one says anything if it's only in the Western nations? Please stop. Yeah. Please, I beg of you, it
bit of a complex, right?
Yes, it's a horrible complex that exists, and I'm sorry. It has reached a point now where Western content creators know that there are 2 things. You can either aura farm or you can engagement farm Indians in 2 ways. Either praise them or rage bait them.
Yeah.
So, my point is, this is so easy then. All you need is one comment and they're just going to swarm like a bunch of flies. Attracted to what I won't say, but you get the gesture.
Much better than that.
Yes, you should be much better than that. That's number 1. That is where, sadly, great as minds as I think a DK is, and Ashwin definitely is someone I love his reading of the game. Not immune to that. Number 1. Number 2, Perth has always been like this. To concur Sidvi's point, it is always extreme for a day and a half, and then it tends to ease out significantly. My only criticism of the pitch makers, and I know it's a little tough because it's a drop in, is that find a way to make the drop off more gradual. This feels like you flick a switch and the pitch is different.
I think the pitch was also slightly gradual. I feel, Shane, just that England didn't apply themselves.
I agree. They didn't apply themselves. I'm not making
they also
them
got
immune.
Decent batting.
They did because you look at the way the likes of Atkinson and all were batting. The pitch was good to bat. There were strokes there to be made. It's just that by the time they were batting, they're number 8 and number 9 and 10. They're not going to look at that. We're going to bat long.
And the top order played some airy-fairy shots.
Exactly, as always. Point number 3, the distinction between a pace-friendly wicket, whether it be bouncy or swingy or both, and a spin-friendly wicket or spinning conditions in the subcontinent. Pace-friendly wickets will go the reverse, where they'll start off being bowler-friendly, but by day 3, it'll start easing out. Spin wickets will go worse. So if you're getting, if it's a spinning wicket or a traditional spinning wicket, first 2 days will be good for batting and then it wears out, which is why I've never understood this argument that, we need a rank turner to take the toss out of the equation. Boss, it's still a spinning wicket. If you ramp up the spin, it'll only get worse as the day is gone, making the toss doubly more important. So where is your logic and where is your analysis? These are 3 factors. I think the pearl clutching around this is not necessary. 2 very different chalk and cheese circumstances. Let's not compare the Eden pitch and the pitch that we offered up in Pune 2017, or the 2 Ahmedabads in 2021, or some of those horrible pitches you were getting in the BGT, whether it be Nagpur, whether it be Delhi, whether it be Indore. All of those deserved the criticism they got because they were rubbish cricketing pitches.
In India, currently the mindset is such that you want to celebrate mediocrity. You don't want to address the core issue. Look at it. Some people, I'm talking about Delhi NCR in itself. Some people, you are having people who are having serious health problems with this. Yeah, long term, you're going to have big health issues. But no, what happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it's always existed. So they'll pull out some nonsense of that kind which says, then don't look at the core issue. Here, a bad pitch is a bad pitch. Newlands never was easy for the batters on any of the days that it lasted.
Oh my God, that was bad.
Here, Travis Head and Marnus Labuschagne showed you it is easy. You just have to apply yourself or you have to go counter-attacking. England didn't play basketball at all.
No, in fact, see,
In both the innings.
so that counter-attacking is one thing, but
Right.
playing stupid shots is a different matter. The difference between what Head and Labuschagne did and what England's middle order did is that they weren't playing stupid shots.
Harry Brook was first innings was basketball.
Yeah.
That was
was.
proper basketball. In fact,
Pope
that,
too.
yeah, and in fact, what Brook did is solidify this reputation that P has, where he tends to perform better overseas. I know that reputation is muddied by the fact that he's got so many daddy hundreds in Pakistan of all places, where, let's face it, you don't get challenging conditions. But that first innings is very good because
Plus, he's got runs in New Zealand also.
New Zealand recently and now here. So again, there's a good batter there. But I think sometimes, and this is my big problem with Baz, is that it's all flash. The flash is there. It doesn't really reflect much in the results, in my opinion. Till date, his biggest accomplishment as a coach is winning the CPL title with Trinbago Knight Riders. And that's a league that, again, there's no disrespect, is one of the easier ones that exists out there.
And if you want to say that Bazball wants to portray him, Baz portrays him as a lighthouse. He's a torch. I'm very sorry about it. He's not a lighthouse that will show you the way. He's just a torch for short-term dispelling of the darkness. That's it.
He's a limited coach in the sense that he's very good at getting across his one message. Okay, but like he reminds me a bit, and you might remember this, Kevin Keegan's Entertainers of Newcastle United. They were a very good team, very attacking team. They loved putting on a show. They've always never won the title. It was always Manchester United who won the title. Why? Because Manchester United were focused on winning.
They were more on entertaining.
Exactly.
And that is what they'll say, oh, we try to entertain.
That's fair, but then if you don't win, no one is going to care. Yeah. Who are you going to entertain? Who are you going to entertain? If you're not winning, you're not drawing in your crowds.
Yep.
Easy as that.
Okay, we'll take a few questions before we wind up.
Yeah.
I have another test match to cover.
Yes.
And see, I said 4 o'clock shouldn't be a problem. No darkness.
Not
There's
yet,
still
yeah.
sunlight there.
Yep.
So
Extension is not likely, but 4 o'clock you're good.
only
Yeah.
you can.
Vishal99 from the US is saying,
That's all
was expecting little fight from England bowlers, but Trav ball destroyed
Trav
Bazball.
ball.
England need to play Bazball with brain equals to proper test match.
Yeah.
But they're still drinking the Baz Kool-Aid. No, I think, and now what worries me, unfortunately, is that he's the all-format coach.
England,
It's like we saw it fail in this format and we want some of that in white ball
Fail
too.
everywhere.
it's
Please.
like the snowball that is going to lead into destruction, I'm telling you.
See, they were in very good white ball condition at least. Fine, they didn't have a great World Cup 23-24, but they could say prior to that they had won both.
Didn't
And
have
then-
a great
No,
World
no,
Cup.
they're terrible
The
World
worst
Cup.
defense by an England team
Correct,
for any world event.
All of that is right. My point is you didn't need something radical.
Yeah.
You needed to phase out your older guys and get in new stars. Instead, they touched everything. Now you're going to report you so.
Yep.
Steve Ticklow says that some Indian journals put down India's win in 2018 in odds that just because of VK, that Smith and Warner were not present. This match, Hazelwood and Cummins were not present. Did England win? Good point. I never agreed with that criticism that you should downlook or downplay India's series
And
win.
how could we look? We had never won a series in Australia.
Exactly.
I mean, that for me, yes. If you ask me to rank between the two series win, I'll go with the 2021.
Yeah, because that was a
100%.
full strength one.
Yeah,
You were a
21
C
series.
team.
No, it's not full strength. It was just because of the excitement that we witnessed in those contests. Because of that, primarily because of that. But even the series prior to that, you won. Yeah, it's never easy to win in Australia. Ask any team. Anyone can be injured.
You are
or
in
what.
fact the only Asian nation to win in Australia still.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, I used to think, and I never take Australia lightly, I never forget that. I think I mentioned it before. I was at a dinner at a relative's place, and they asked me, that time was 2011 when India were going to Australia.
Yeah.
And I said, India, this time we'll hammer them. He said, how do you expect? In Australia, I said, Siddle and Ryan Harris, what are they going to do, yaar? They're gone are the days of,
Gillespie,
McGrath on troubling us. This bowling lineup, what are they going to do? And the result after that, 4-0. So those relatives of mine who
still
thought that was my day job didn't quite have the same opinion after that.
Correct.
But so once bitten, twice shy. I never take Australia lightly in Australian conditions. Siddle and Ryan Harris were like
Pattinson in two tests.
breathing fire.
And Stark came back for Perth. Ooh.
So for us, it's always been tough. I never take any series win lightly in Australia. But again, kudos to Australia. No Hazelwood, no Cummins. Imagine.
No Hazelwood, no Cummins, no problem.
Imagine if you're playing without a Bumrah and a Kuldeep. Though people might argue that without Bumrah you won in England all test matches.
No, even
And people will also argue that without Kuldeep you win half your tests anyway because he doesn't play half your tests.
You drew the series in England. No Kuldeep, no Bumrah.
Exactly.
No, but even without
In the
all
matches
of them,
that you won.
You won a series in Australia in 2021 without all of them.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenon. I think that is one of the best results we have ever had in our Indian bilateral cricketing history, that 2021 win. Steve Tikola, compare Baz result with result before Baz. In this regime, England is actually doing compared to time they were having during later part of Cook.
I think what he means to say is they were doing okay. But I mean, see, look at some of the test results that they've had. You can argue, or then they will rightfully argue that rain denied them winning the Ashes in 2023. But then you losing the first two tests also denied you winning the Ashes in 2023.
All down to you.
Yeah.
You declared when you were 20 behind. What? You declared.
Yeah. And let's compare. England came to India 2013, won a series.
Yeah.
Last time they've come with Baz here, they got hammered. They got hammered.
Exactly. So that's why their summer of torment is only beginning. Because the next one is the pink ball test match in Gaba. And Mitchell Starc in full flow. Brilliant. I love it.
Okay, let's take a few more comments. Anshu Mishra says, Nikhil sir, BCCI is making sports political. Even if India have to host ICC tournament, then semi-final best bet is always Kolkata and Mumbai, not Ahmedabad. You can't match Kolkata crowd craze and Ahmedabad. I agree with you.
+1.
+2.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Completely. Arvind Atharas is saying, Nikhil sir, Cook and Peterson performed under pressure in India and Australia. That's why they are great England batters ahead of Root. Ahead of Root.
No. I know Root, the one easy stick to beat him with has always been his underperformance in Australia, which is fair. But where else overseas has he had a bad
Where also he's not that bad. He doesn't have 100. But
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Aren't that bad.
He's got 35 plus average in Australia.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you have to look at it.
And that's one of his worst countries with a 35 plus average.
The standards are
We
so
have
high.
players with 35 average across all areas.
You've got Zach Crawley with average of 31 opening for England.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I have to look at it, which series did Root have a massive impact in them winning a series? I mean, if you have to look at it, he scored mountains of runs. But barring 2013 Ashes, if you look at it, which other series did he have an impact in which you won a series? Cook, 766 runs helped you win the 10-11 Ashes in Australia. Ended at 24-year jinx. Peterson, that 2012 India tour was phenomenal. So was Cook with 300s.
And don't forget Cook, his retirement series
Yeah.
against India only, where it didn't look like, I was wondering why the hell he's retiring. Watching him the way he was batting.
Cook, I would believe, I mean, if I have to rate the best batters in modern day England, I think Cook is right up there.
Yeah, and he's not had a great start in this test match. Both innings.
0 and 8.
Yeah, couldn't really get going.
Yeah.
But it's a long series, and I think batters like him show their class.
They will.
Same for Smith, he's not had an outstanding time so far. Though second innings barely got any time to bat. First innings got a few runs. But expect them to be the central figures for their teams.
I think Smith was a little caught up with Mastermind.
Mastermind, huh?
But he's had the final say.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No. See, remember, Monty's not playing.
He's not playing.
Nothing to lose.
He has absolutely nothing to lose.
You can say, I want to beat. He'll be like, okay, deal with Root, Stokes and whatever.
And by the way, what if by chance when he's batting long, they start targeting him with a little bit of sandpaper, this thing, and he ends up getting out.
Yeah.
Then that's vindication for Monty.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of this. I remember, I don't know when it was, in India were playing a series in England, I don't know when. Akash Chopra had actually pointed out a criticism of Moeen Ali, and he said that Moeen is very susceptible to a short ball. Moeen got a little irritated and actually posted Akash Chopra's test numbers, which admittedly don't make for great reading.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, India targeted him with that short ball and got him out constantly.
Yeah. Exactly.
So actually, Moeen was the one who took the bait and then ended up losing big time. That because you don't need to. What are you gaining by getting into a battle with someone with the mic in hand? Nothing whatsoever. Unless they're getting personal with you, is a different matter. But he was just doing his job.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Steve Ticolo is saying that England came in 2016, lost 4-0 to India. They didn't win the Ashes at home in 2019, lost to SA, NZ, India at home. Before Baz, you can't say they were doing better.
No, I'm not saying they're doing better, but I'm saying there have been results up and down as well. But what have they achieved under... I think one of the finest Ashes series was that Archer, Steve Smith.
2019. That was at home
yeah,
only.
But that wasn't...
Amazing series,
But Baz wasn't the coach at
No,
that
no,
time.
no.
So one of the finest series without Baz being there. I think England were cranking it up. Of course, Australia also fought back very well.
You talk about that. I mean, Steve Smith, his first match after that Sandpaper Gate fiasco, he comes to Edgbaston. And you know, in Edgbaston, the way how the English, they were gleefully waiting to give it to Smith. What does he do? Score twin hundreds.
Exactly.
And the citadel or the sentinel that is there of English cricket, where you didn't lose for 18 years, broken. And you've not won Edgbaston since then. India have breached the fortress. Australia have breached it twice. So good luck in riling up Steve Smith if the Barmy Army thinks about that way.
But see, the thing with him is he's clearly he got though.
Yeah,
Let's be fair. If one comment from Monty can get you,
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
he got.
Yeah.
So again, if I just say if I'm England, I'll take note.
Yeah.
Throw a few things in there. Let's see how he responds.
Correct.
Yep. Indeed.
Yes, Mr. Pawan, you don't want us to take...
Yeah. Last comment we can take because...
I'll take a couple more comments because we'll have to come back again in 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
quickly. Rajiv Ranjan says, Nikhil bro, in last 10 years, Travis Head is the biggest match winner. What a clutch player he is.
Agreed.
Bang on. What a player.
What a player.
What a wonderful player.
Yeah. Doing well in November.
Lines by Tony Gregg for Sachin Tendulkar.
What a player. So, Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan, England lost it in the second innings batting. In
Yeah.
last 12
Yes,
years in
correct.
Test in Australia,
Correct?
one freakish status, Virat has 6 centuries. And entire England, South Africa, Pakistan and has only 5.
That's a brilliant stat, Dave.
And that's a stat that might actually take a little while to get outdone because Virat is retired. But again, who do you see here getting hundreds? Maybe Root. That's it. Maybe Stokes if his back is really against the wall. Yeah, Pope. Maybe.
Pope. But see, yeah, New Zealand also. Who has scored 100 there? No one. Pakistan, they hardly score. Although Azhar Ali tried in that period. South Africa, I'm surprised South Africa don't have that many.
No, but then South Africa gets served up with spicy conditions, no? Remember?
Yeah, but in 22, it was their first loss after 3 consecutive series wins. That was there. Surprising. But yeah, last 12 years, yeah.
B2 says, Nikhil sir, it was not a dose of the same medicine because unlike England, the Aussie dose win. Good point, B2. Yeah, I stand corrected. Finally, Siddharth says, Kuldeep delivering such a great spell. That's how a genuine, skillful spinner spun his web to grasp a test. Not anyone rolling arm, bowling at 80 Ks to be a spinner. Completely agree, Siddharth. But that is something that we'll dwell on a bit more because he's kind of brought you back into the game. That's going to be our next live. I think it should be in another 10, 12
minutes.
14 minutes, whenever.
Yeah.
So we look forward to your company then. For the moment, that's all that we have on the first Ashes update. Do leave us a comment if you're watching our chat later after our live is done. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a like, share it with your friends as well, who may have a thought or two to exchange with us. And see you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you soon for the India match.